The cash conversion cycle is calculated by adding together the days sales outstanding to the days inventory outstanding and subtracting the days payable outstanding. These terms can sound a little intimidating, so let's first have a look at what it means conceptually. The cash conversion cycle is a measure of how much time a business is without its cash, primarily and typically from buying inventory averaged across the whole business, measured over a specific time period. It's usually calculated at the end of a certain month and would therefore be recalculated monthly. It looks at the average time the business was without its cash, from paying suppliers to getting paid by customers. A short cash conversion cycle is best. It's an indication of an efficient supply chain, efficient operations, and good overall cash flow management. So, let's take a quick look at each of the terms that make up the cash conversion cycle calculation. Days Sales Outstanding, DSO, is a measure of how quickly a business is paid by its customers. If all customers paid immediately, known as a cash sale, just like you or I do when buying something from a shop, then the DSO would be 0. But in business-to-business sales, that's not always the case. So DSO considers how much money a business is waiting to be paid from credit sales, rather than cash sales, relative to the quantity of sales made. For cash flow, we want our days sales outstanding to be as small as possible. Days inventory outstanding, DIO, is the average time the inventory spends in the ownership of the business. It describes the average quantity of inventory we own, have on hand, have in stock, in relation to the rate of sales. It's a measure of how much time is required to turn over our inventory. Ideally, we want to keep inventory flowing through the business as quickly as possible. Therefore, for cash flow, we want days inventory outstanding to be as small as possible. Lastly, days payable outstanding, DPO, is the average time that a company takes to pay its suppliers for goods purchased. This occurs when you buy things on credit from suppliers, which is good for our cash flow. For cash flow, we want our days payable outstanding to be as big as possible. So, for a better, shorter cash conversion cycle, we want to turn over inventory quickly, have few credit sales, get paid quickly, and pay our suppliers as late as possible, assuming we're not paying interest. Time for an example. Let's say a shoe shop has a days sales outstanding of 5 days, a days inventory outstanding of 15 days, and a days payable outstanding of 12 days. The cash conversion cycle for the shoe shop is therefore 5 plus 15 minus 12, which equals 8 days. So, we've learned the fundamental formula for calculating the cash conversion cycle. It's easy to think of this formula as just adding and subtracting a few numbers, but the simplicity of the formula hides many pitfalls and nuances, choices that we need to make when gathering the data and calculating the various components. That's where the real work lies.